Hey, Donald Trump was on the Kilmeade show this morning, and we always want to get his. Hey, what? Forget the Kilmeade show. He just walked in the room. I can't believe this. Mr. President, welcome back to WABC. How are you?
Well, Greg, it's great to be with you. Great to be with you. A lot of things happening, right?
Yeah, I know. Hey, by the way, you got a big decision to make, the vice president. You kind of give us a hint here?
Well, all I could tell you is that it'll be a lot better than cackling Kamala, okay? A lot better than her, believe me.
What about Milwaukee? You ready to hang out in Milwaukee for a few days?
Well, it's going to be a good time. We have a lot of great people lined up, and we're doing it in person, right? The Democrats, they're doing Zoom like it's 4 years ago. Can you believe it? You heard about this? They're doing Zoom.
What do you think? Is Joe going to make it?
Well, look, that's up to Joe to figure out. They have him doing press conference today. I call it setup. They're setting him up to fail. Because it's the only way to get him out, right? They can't do it old-fashioned like in the 60s with Kennedy. They can't do that. They can't blackmail because he's probably got blackmail on them. So they say, you know what, Joe, get out there. And they're going to embarrass him out. But, Joe, he's a little different. He's got a big ego. They say I'm the ego guy. But you know what? If I was losing it, I would say, you know what, it's time to sail off. But Joe, he's not letting go.
Hey, Mr. President, today is July 11th, and I don't know if you remember, but this is the day you were supposed to be sentenced to prison by that Judge Merchan.
It didn't happen like they thought, right?
Is this wild?
No, life is wild, right? Life is wild.
Well, all right, Mr. President, I know you got to work on your speech for next week, so I'm going to let you work in the conference room down the hall. In the meantime, we want to talk to Jason Scoop, the comedian, the impressionist, the influencer all over the world, jet setter. I mean, my God, this guy is you got it all going on, Jason Scoop. Welcome back.
It's great to be back.
Jason, forgive me, but your big comedy live show in Yonkers, tell us when and where it is.
So that's July 19th through the 21st. It's 5 shows. That's, I believe, Friday through Sunday. And I'm also, the following Friday, I'm at the Cutting Room right here in Manhattan, New York City on August 2nd.
That's fantastic. And what's the name of the venue up in Yonkers?
It is the Yonkers Comedy Club. Easy to remember. YonkersComedyClub.com. You can buy tickets on there.
How long have you been doing the comedy?
I've been doing comedy about 10 years, but very seriously, things have really taken off the last 3 years when I started putting videos online.
And TikTok,
Instagram, YouTube. Yeah.
And everybody wants a piece of you. Now, explain. I see you getting on and off private jets all the time on Instagram, and I see you going to wrestling matches, it looks like, all
UFC.
over the world. Why them? Why you? What's going on?
So,
you told me this, but go through.
Yeah, it's a simple. Basically, I got hooked up with Steve Will Do It. He's a big influence. He's one of the Nelk boys, and they're like huge with like Gen Z. And they're one of the few podcasters to have Trump on while he was still in office. I think they boarded Air Force One and interviewed Trump. Steve actually told me that he was the last guy in the room with Trump on Air Force One, and he said the last words he said to Trump was, "You make me proud to be an American." And now he's hired me to be his Trump.
This is really interesting, and it's one of the great things about Trump. He embraces our culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nothing's below him. Nothing's above him. He's just like, he's in it. He's all in.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
It is.
All right. So which Nelk boy? Steve Will Do It?
Steve Will Do It.
And what does he do? What's his thing?
Well, Steve's when Steve first started, he became Steve Will Do It because he would do anything. Like just any challenge, he would do it. And then once he became successful and making money, he just started just giving out money. The main thing he does is just give people money. He helps people.
How do I meet this guy?
I can put you in touch.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk. We'll talk. All right. So, oops, sorry about that. A spam risk. What kind of cell phone do you have?
I have an iPhone. I'm not too good with technology, which is ironic because I guess that's how I make my living. But I think it's the one iPhone before the current one.
And that thing my God, it's changed everything.
It
really.
has. It sure has.
In a beautiful way. You're like, you don't have to wait around for the comedy club. You can just make comedy wherever you are.
Yeah. But that gets you to the comedy club because once you have all the fans, you could put it's AIS, butts in seats. I won't say the other word. butts in seats, and if you make yourself a name through the phone, then you get to go perform live, and you have people that want to come see you.
Butts in seats. By the way, you are you're one of us in terms you grew up in New York,
That's right.
Long Island.
Yeah, Levittown.
What high school did you go to?
Division Avenue High School.
And I think we talked about that. And then your first destination after high school was Nassau Community College.
Yeah.
But there's some great comedians. Billy Crystal, we told you about. You know who went there also? Brian Williams. No, wait. Brian Williams went to another community college upstate. I am fascinated by people who go to community college and then make it really, really big.
Yeah.
Because, after when you have to tell somebody you're going to community college and you're in the 12th grade, it's a little bit, right?
I would always joke the prestigious University of Nassau Community College.
But people have done my mother went to Nassau Community. I took a few classes at Nassau Community. All right. Oh, Mr. President, he's back. You don't want to work on your speech anymore. So what are you going to do next week with the big speech?
You talking about convention?
Convention.
Well, I don't want to give away too much, but look, Greg, and you know it better than anyone, you talk about broadcasting. It's going to be huge, okay? It's going to be terrific. There's going to be a little bit of surprises. You remember back in 16, I came out behind the screen, right? You remember the screen?
Oh, yeah.
It was like pop star stuff. We're looking at perhaps pyrotechnic. Perhaps I shoot up out of the stage like Bieber or Michael back in the day. But we're looking at a lot of things,
I am so glad. All right. Well,
Believe me.
I'm going to let you get back to the planning. Jason Scoop is back. He does have this habit, and you've picked up on it. He doesn't speak grammatically incorrect, but he drops like the article. Yeah. Or it's peculiar and interesting. How do you define it? What's going on there?
Well, it's persuasion. I read Scott Adams' book, Win Bigly, how Trump won the 2016 election. It's all persuasion. People would mock him. Oh, he's not grammatically. I'm like, well, look at Biden. He can't even speak. What people think is they're like, he uses the grammar of an elementary school. It's like, that works. That works, folks. That gets people to vote for you, and you connect with them. And it's all persuasion. It's all technical persuasion stuff.
And on stage, I think they say he only uses like maybe 200 words or something like that. Not as many but on stage, you have to command attention.
Yeah.
You can't just stand up there and read an essay that somebody wrote for you.
No.
You got to speak to them.
You have to be engaging.
But he also has this way of, forget the persuasion for a moment. Like, I think I saw you do it. Okay, we're here at beach. I came to beach, and we're going to do this thing at beach. Like, you didn't call it the beach. And sometimes he does that. Sometimes, like, he'll just use a word and drop off a word that normally goes with that word. It's like a little bit different.
Well, I think it catches attention. It's like when there was a movie that was being advertised, Hansel and Gretel, but the posters all said Gretel and Hansel. And that makes you stop for a second. It's like the nicknames. Instead of tweeting Lying Ted, it was L'Yin Ted. That makes you stop for a second. Wait a minute. Lion Ted, huh? Now you got Lion Ted implanted in your brain, and it's already worked.
He may go with Little Marco.
Little Marco.
What do you think?
Not so little anymore.
Not so little.
I think he's grown up a little. He's matured. You look at that. But, I it's tough to say, I'm imitating me, but I'm not him. But I want to see somebody like out of like a Candace Owens or something crazy like that. Somebody not even in politics.
Yeah, some sort of surprise. I have a feeling it might be somebody not on the list. The three?
Yeah,
that would be interesting. But I don't think he should play it too loosey goosey. He should be a little. He doesn't need to do a big gimmick right now.
No. That's a Biden. That's a Democrat thing. The
right.
DEI pick.
And those things blow up in your face.
They do. Well, as you can see clearly, now they're stuck with Kamala.
Right. And it's amazing how that works. By the way, somebody at CBS News was just fired. It was a DEI hired. And, they don't realize, quite frankly, people are people. What's on the surface is on the surface. Like, they suddenly assume that if you are a person of color, especially if you are a woman, you must be this wholesome, good person. Wrong.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Tell me again. Yonkers, July 19th, 20th, 21st?
19, 20, 21, 5 shows. And August 2nd, the following Friday, at the Cutting Room right here in Manhattan.
What's it like? When you go on stage? I noticed this about Biden. I just thought of it. 5,000 people in the audience, whatever it is. And I know, and for Trump, they probably don't get nervous. They've done it a million times. And if a regular person gets in front of 12 people, they're nervous. So what is that like? I mean, are you still on edge when you walk into a big crowd?
No, I love I feed off the energy of the crowd. I give them what they give me. You know, so you want to start strong and then keep that ball, you know, what do you call it? The
momentum?
Momentum. You know, when the ball rolls down and it picks up a leaf and
snowball effect.
Snowball effect. You start strong and then the audience gives you that energy and then you keep going. The only time I ever got nervous when I started out was like if the stakes were higher. This is years ago. They're like, oh, an MTV executive is in the audience. That would get to me.
Right.
But now I don't know.
Right, MTV. What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, Jason, it's always great to talk to you and to President Trump. President Trump, what is the key to success?
Well, the key to success is always never giving up, right? Never give up. Whether they indict you or anything else, you keep going, and always stay positive. And also never forget to have fun, right? You see Biden, he doesn't look like he's having fun. He's struggling. He could barely keep his eyes open. He's not having fun. People want to see somebody up there, wow, look at him. He's having fun. He's enjoying himself. He's having a good time. And you sort of want to be something people look up to.
What do you think it is? How did Donald Trump, gain all of these insights? It's interesting. It's like, he grew up in a traditional family, in a traditional business.
Yeah.
But he did reinvent communication, or just he's a genius when it comes to it.
Born with it.
You think?
Yes. Now, granted, he sharpened it over the years, but he was born with a certain amount of innate skill set, God-given. You can't. Nobody else is built like him.
Right. I think also he lacks fear, which is both good and bad. More good than bad. What could you do if you had no fear? You could do just about anything, or he conceals his fear. Other people wear it. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess it's just God-given. And he's observant. That's the thing I don't think he gets enough credit for. You've met him by now.
Yes.
He is not only looking at you, he's just inhaling your energy.
Yeah.
He's picking up on a lot of stuff that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, he thrives off the audience. He thrives off. He's in the moment. He connects. That's why he's gotten this far. That's why Hillary didn't get elected. She can't connect.
Right.
Biden maybe used to be able to fake connection, but now he's lost. He's completely,
And I think he's genuinely interested in people.
Yes.
You see that. He's not faking it. And you go back to 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I see pictures of him with, regular people. He was talking to black people before he needed black people.
Right.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, and most politicians, quite frankly, they'll only talk to certain groups when they need them.
100%.
And it's just an amazing thing to watch. It's a fabulous time to be alive. Must be a fabulous time to be a comedian and as creative and productive as Jason Scoop.
Well, thank you
Jason,
so much.
we can see you at Yonkers, the Yonkers Comedy Club, July 19th, 2021.
Yes, sir.
Is there a website or where should people go?
YonkersComedyClub.com. And for the other show, it's thecuttingroom.com, cuttingroomnyc.com.
Now, what about you if we want to get your content online and all that stuff?
Jason Scoop on Instagram, Jason Scoop Comedy on TikTok and YouTube, and also Jason Scoop on Twitter. And big announcement for the first time ever, I'm going live today on Instagram and possibly TikTok as well. I have to figure that out with maybe a second camera guy. But I'm going to be just walking the streets as Trump in New York City because, I would film clips and stuff and post them, but people would say, God, you got to film the behind the scenes, maybe do a little documentary. Now, that's expensive to do, but if you go live, people get to see the whole thing, all the magic. People get to see when I walk into the New York City shop owned by the Arab guys, and they're like, "We love Trump, we love you." That's all the behind the scenes.
It is great, and I've seen you. You walk in. I saw once a pizza parlor, and you walk in there, and you just took over the room. And I don't know if you remember this,
I remember.
but you go to the counter. It's a little bit like glass high, and you took your hands and you went. Yeah. It's like you were announcing to the room that something's about to start. Mm-hmm. But that's also a natural move. Yeah. It wasn't like, look at me, everybody. You were just like passing time. Yeah. It's genius.
Thank you.
Hey, I have one note, and I've given this to you before.
Oh, the handshake.
All right. So Trump does have, on occasion, a way to handshake where he totally dominates and subdues the other person into this, it's a weird power play. Not weird. He does it. Grabs the hand, pulls you real close. He's in charge. You do it too often.
Yeah.
It's not him. He doesn't. This is one of the reasons why it doesn't work, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay.
And I think you're brilliant, and it's hilarious, and it gives me great pleasure and joy, your content. Trump doesn't offer his hand as much as you do.
Right.
And the pulling in, sooner or later, you're going to shake the wrong guy's hand, and they're going to punch you in the mouth.
Right. Well, I'll say this. It's definitely a caricature thing. That's not one of my spot on exactly. It's more of a caricature. It's a little more leaning into the comedy side. And the other thing is, believe it or not, I know you think I haven't listened to your advice, but trust me, you're like the angel on my shoulder. When I do it now, it used to be harder. I actually kind of found a way to fake it. But I pick and choose who I go, it's like a split-second analysis. Okay, with this guy, I go like this. With this guy, maybe do the fake. So believe it or not, but I did not forget your words of advice, Greg Kelly. Just like Biden didn't listen to you when you told him to watch the step, I listened to you. Or even if I don't listen, you're like mom or dad lingering on you're the angel on my shoulder. Trust me.
You're being more selective as to who you do it. Oh, that makes you feel good. One other thing, your hair, you're a young man, you got a full head of hair, you're kind of doing what is it, dyeing?
So the reason why I dyed my hair blonde was I was with Steve Will Do It. We wanted to go courtside with the Dallas Mavericks game. The company that I think it's whatever company sponsors him, they didn't want me wearing the wig. So Steve saw a way around that was to just dye my hair. Obviously, it was longer at the time. Dye my hair blonde. We never made it to the game because the flight was delayed. We were flying from Nicaragua. That's a whole nother story. Yeah. So then I was just stuck with the blonde hair. I do like the blonde hair.
I know. Look, I kind of want to do the same thing. I seriously, because it's going a little. Anyway, Jason Scoop, Yonkers Comedy Club, The Cutting Room. Check it out, and we thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.